Ciao, Moi Noi. Hello everyone from Da Nang in Vietnam. My name is Devendra and I have been living in Da Nang for 3 years now. So in today's video, I would like to tell you about 5 changes that I have seen in Da Nang in the last 3 years of living here. Have you ever traveled to a place, an exciting new destination, and wondered why everything looks different from what you had imagined or what you were told? Well, so I hope my video today about Da Nang will inform you about what to expect in Da Nang in 2025 and beyond. When I first arrived in Da Nang in March 22, just after the COVID lockdown finished and Vietnam opened its borders, when I would walk on the beach in Da Nang, I could not see anybody on the beach. And now, of course, there are thousands of people there. So a lot has changed in the last 3 years, but some changes are for the good. And Da Nang is still a city I love, and I think it's the most livable city in Vietnam and one of the best options to live anywhere in the world. So we are currently at the Dragon Bridge on the Han River, and you can see the Asia Park there with the Ferris wheel, and this is the Bac Dang walking street, and there's no traffic allowed here on the weekends, so it's even better. And this is the city center of Da Nang, and we'll walk over the Dragon Bridge and go towards the Santra night market. So the biggest change in Da Nang in the last 3 years is that the number of tourist arrivals has increased substantially. While there were always South Korean tourists and Japanese tourists coming to Vietnam and to Da Nang, this year the Chinese tourists who were not traveling very much after COVID have begun to come to Vietnam again in very large numbers. So that's a good sign for the tourist industry here. And apart from the Chinese tourists coming back to Da Nang and Vietnam, there are a lot more Russian tourists now in Da Nang. Their typical favorite for the Russians is Nha Trang, which is another beautiful coastal city in Vietnam. But they are increasingly also shifting their attention to Da Nang. So that's also a good thing. And even Indians, there are so many more Indians traveling to Vietnam and to Da Nang because of the direct flight connections between Da Nang and Vietnam. And there's a direct flight from Da Nang to Ahmedabad in India. So there are many, many more Indian tourists. So the first big change is that there are so many more tourists here in Vietnam. You can see a bit of karaoke, which is very popular all over Vietnam and Southeast Asia. Yes, so the number of tourists coming here has increased substantially. And also the second big change is the number of buildings coming up all over Da Nang, including the buildings here on the Han River, on both sides of the river, all the way to the port of Da Nang. Many, many new buildings coming up. So Da Nang never had any skyscrapers or tall buildings, but the skyline is changing now rapidly and forever. So you see a lot of traffic going back after work. Otherwise there's not much traffic in Da Nang. It's a very quiet and peaceful and clean city. So the first big change we saw was that there are a lot more tourists coming here, a lot more people choosing to retire and live in Da Nang and in Vietnam, and many more digital nomads. And the second big change we saw was that a lot of buildings coming up everywhere. And even on the Da Nang to Hoi An stretch, Hoi An is the neighboring ancient town which is extremely popular and one of the best places to travel for tourism in Vietnam. So even the stretch from Da Nang to Hoi An along the coast is so beautiful. There are many undeveloped or not fully developed projects stuck there from the COVID era. But in Da Nang itself, there are many new projects coming up. A lot of construction going on. So the third big change that I've seen in Da Nang is that the prices are going up. The prices and the rates, even the rentals of apartments and houses is increasing substantially. When I first came to Da Nang in 2022 and later in 2022 when I moved to an apartment, a beautiful modern apartment just across the road from the beach, I was paying 7 million Vietnamese dong. About 10 million Vietnamese dong would be about 380 US dollars. So that apartment would be definitely more than 10 million VND now, maybe even 15 million VND now. So double the price of what I paid when I first came here. And then I moved to a bungalow, a 3-bedroom bungalow on the also along the beach, and I was paying 14 million VND for that 3-bedroom bungalow. And I doubt if you can get it for less than 20 million VND now. So rentals are going up tremendously, and even the food prices, including food in the restaurants, is rising substantially, I would say. So not so much of a change for Vietnamese food, which remains to be the best option for fresh and tasty and healthy food to have in Vietnam. But if you're looking for other cuisines, expect to pay a bit more than before. And even the portion sizes are decreasing, so that's not a good thing. Which brings me to the next change. The next change that I have seen is that there are a lot more restaurants, cafes and bars all over Da Nang. And on the beach in particular, where there were earlier only a few beach shacks, but now almost every part of the beach is covered with bars, with cafes, and with shacks which offer sunbeds and massages on the beach. So from the beach front to even the city front, where earlier I was renting a house, just near the house there were about 2 or 3 bars. Now on that street, which is also infamously referred to as Korean Street, because there are many Korean spas, restaurants and shops and hotels on that street in particular, there are now 30 or 40 bars, and literally a new bar opening up every week or every month. So many more outlets in Da Nang, which is a good thing, gives tourists an option. But I guess for the restaurant owners, I was talking to a few of them and they said that their profits have come down because the footfalls have decreased, and they are relying more on tour groups to come and use their services. And of course the tour groups don't pay as much, so the profits are down. But that's the big thing for the business establishments to figure out. But that's one more change in Da Nang. And the next big change, I would say, here in Da Nang is that the location of the Santra market, the night market, which is on the left side of the Dragon Bridge, has now moved to the right side of the Dragon Bridge. And this Dragon Bridge here, of course, on the weekend, the dragon will spew fire and then spew water, and it's a big attraction on the Saturday and Sunday nights, and you have hordes of tourists coming here. Of course, the Love Bridge here is also very popular, and the entire Han River area is very popular with tourists. So the Santra market has moved from the left hand side to the right side. But it's a big change because on the left side earlier, they were temporary outlets. They would be put up in the night and removed after the night market closed. But now you have permanent structures like in a normal market, which have come up on the right side, and they call it the Santra night market. So for me, that's not really a great thing, because the ambience of the night market, which is a bit chaotic and loud and disorganized, is I guess for me the feeling of being in a night market. The new night market is more like a traditional market, so nothing really fantastic about that. In fact, the night market is still there in Hoi An, which is very nice. Also in Hanoi and of course in Phu Quoc, the beautiful islands in the south coast of Vietnam. The night markets are very lively and fun, just like in Thailand. So the night market here has changed. Also its location. So these are some of the 5 big changes that I have seen here in terms of the tourist arrivals in Da Nang increasing, in terms of the properties being constructed all over the place, in terms of the rentals and the costs of food going up, and in terms of more restaurants and cafes and shops opening up literally everywhere, and then the Santra market also shifting its location. And then there are some small changes which are there. For example, the Santra Marina has come up here. It's a small but beautiful marina with a few yachts, and the Bakdang walking street along the Han River has got many cafes, and on weekends there's no traffic allowed there, so it's very nice for walking and just sitting and enjoying a cup of coffee. And of course, when you're in Vietnam, I mean, the number one thing to do is to have coffee. So there are many beautiful coffee shops in Da Nang, and so the change number 4 with more coffee shops and restaurants, I think is good, because you have the big brands like Highlands and Cộng Cafe and Katinat and many others, but now there are many more single standalone coffee shops, and which are very creative and cute, are all over Da Nang. And apart from the marina and the Bakdang walking street, even in Bana Hills out in the distance on the hill, there are many more new attractions coming up month after month. So it's getting more and more exciting. I have myself been to Bana Hills about 5 times now, because whenever anybody comes here and wants to go there, I join them and I go up to Bana Hills. And it's always nice to have new attractions to try out whenever one goes there. So many changes in Da Nang. I don't know if they were good or bad or ugly, but I guess changes change, and not all change is always for the best, but change is constant in life. And Vietnam and Da Nang are changing surely and steadily. I hope you will enjoy your trip whenever you visit Da Nang, and Da Nang will always remain lovely and beautiful no matter how much it changes. Of that I'm very certain. It is really an amazing place to visit and to stay in. And I hope you have a good holiday here whenever you come here. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you'll watch more videos on the channel. Come Zatniyo, and see you again soon on the channel. Hengaplai Som. Goodbye from Da Nang. Ciao. Come here.